Hello students, welcome to CA session. I am Neelam. I will be teaching you computers. So, here we will start with chapter 1, computer hardware, internal and external. In this chapter we will study about computer hardware. What is hardware? Hardware means physical parts of the computer that we can touch. Like if you have a computer, you might have seen there are so many devices connected with the CPU. Okay, so CPU itself is also a hardware and the devices connected with the CPU are all hardwares. So first of all students, we will go through the first electronic machine. The first electronic machine was ENIAC, E-N-I-A-C. Okay, then it weighed more than 27 tons. It was too heavy and it took up a lot of space. It requires up to 1800 square feet area. Okay, so it was a large computer, but there were only few functions in it. The computer was big in size, but its capacity was less. Now students, hardware. The devices which are connected with the computer, okay, they are known as physical parts of computer and we can touch hardware devices. Example, mouse, keyboard, hard drive means hard disk, and monitor. Now students, we will study about various types of hardware. There are two types of hardwares, external and internal. If you see computer, you will be able to see that there are few devices outside the computer like mouse, keyboard, monitor, etc. which you can see and touch also. But apart from that, inside the CPU, there are internal hardwares. Internal hardware means they are inside the computer. That means inside the CPU cabinet. So there can be motherboard, RAM, processor, etc. Now students, as we know, hardwares are of two types, external or internal. So first of all, external hardware. External hardware means the physical parts of the computer. Okay, the parts which are connected to the computer and they are outside the computer case. Outside the computer case, or we can also say outside the CPU cabinet. Okay, so there are some devices which we can see. So it is keyboard, mouse, monitor, speaker, printer, scanner. You have already seen all these devices. These devices are outside the computer and that is why they are known as external. Next is internal hardware. Internal means inside the computer case. So here physical parts that are inside the computer case. Motherboard, CPU. Here CPU means processor, which is fixed inside the motherboard. Okay, RAM is also fixed, means everything, devices which are outside the computer are also connected with the help of USB ports with the motherboard. Okay, so motherboard is inside the computer. All devices are connected with the motherboard and CPU, then RAM, and there are many such devices, SMPS, etc., which is inside the computer. Now students, one by one we will study about all external devices which are outside the computer. So first of all, keyboard. Keyboard, we have already seen, it's a typewriter like device. It has keys. You have seen letter keys, number keys and symbol keys over it. Then it is used to type data. That means letters, numbers, symbols you can pass. Otherwise, symbols you can type. Otherwise, you can also pass on commands. Okay, you can press various commands. There are so many keys, caps lock keys, shift, enter, alt keys, function keys, numlock keys, etc. So you can use those keys for the keyboard. Then there is monitor. Monitor, that is actually the screen. Whatever you are doing in computer, everything you will be able to see on the monitor. That means you will be able to see it in the form of text. If you are typing the document, you will be able to see the text over it. If there is something in the form of picture, that means images, you will be able to see it on the monitor. Then it is television like device. You have seen television. Monitor exactly looks like a television. It works as per the instruction given by the CPU. all hardware devices do not work by themselves. We have to provide instruction to the CPU. Then CPU will instruct all the devices to work. Now students, we will study other external devices like mouse. Mouse we have already seen. It is a small device connected with the CPU. It is used to point things over the screen. There are objects on the screen like icons, folders, etc. So you can point with the help of this pointing device. So mouse is known as a pointing device. It is used to point any position on the monitor. Any position means files, icons, pictures over the screen. Then it controls the movements of the pointer. Okay, as mouse is a pointing device, we will be able to see a pointer on the screen, and that is why the mouse controls the movement of a pointer on the screen. Mouse pointer is also called a cursor. Like when we click it on the document where we have to type something, then you will be able to see a blinking line over it. Okay, when you will click with mouse pointer over the text area in the text document like MS Word or wherever you have to type, there if you will click, then it will convert to the cursor. A blinking line, that is a cursor. Now printer. Printer, you know very well, whatever you are able to see on the screen, that means the output produced by the CPU will be printed. Okay, so it prints computer generated result on the paper. Then it prints in text or graphics image form. So what can be printed? Either text can be printed or graphics, that means images, can be printed over the paper. Now scanner. Scanner, they are devices which are outside the computer. Scanners are also external hardware. Earlier we used to have a separate scanner, but nowadays the Xerox machines have inbuilt scanners. Okay, means printers come with the scanner itself. So here we will discuss about scanner. Scanner, it scans images, documents and convert it into the digital form. Like if you have to scan a page of the book, then what you have to do? You have to keep it over the scanner inverted and then you have to shut it. The document will be scanned and you will be able to see the scanned document inside the computer. So the scanned document inside the computer is the digital data. The data in the digital form. You know very well computer understands only digital data. It understands binary language. Binary language means digital data. And what is binary? Binary are 0 and 1. Okay, means bits 0 and 1. These are the two bits. With its combination, the bytes are formed, and computer understands digital language. Okay, and that is why scanners convert the pictures or the text document to the digital data. Another type of external hardware is speaker. Speaker you have seen, we can listen music from the speaker. So here what actually does, if there is a song inside your computer, that means digital data. Computer understands only digital data and whatever is inside the computer is in the digital form. So the music which is there inside the computer in the digital form, you will be able to listen it with the help of speakers. That means it converts digital data into the sound. That means with this we can hear the output generated from the computer in the sound form. So students, only this much for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.